Hey everyone, this is NHL Hockey News Reports. Hope you enjoy your day today in this video. So today we're talking about how are the Tampa Bay Lightning built? Now the Tampa Bay Lightning are a very well built team because of Steve Yzerman. Of course, he's not with the Lightning anymore. He left to go back to his home there in Detroit to be the GM of the Red Wings now instead, because that's where he wanted to be. But he made this incredible team, which is still lasting. Of course, Julian Beast made a couple of tweaks, bring some guys in, doing some things, moving things around a little. But this is why they're potentially going to become back-to-back champs, 2020 and 2021 champs. So, why are they so built so well? So I put in three sections. Drafted by the Lightning, signed by the Lightning, and then trades by the Lightning that are currently on the team at this point, okay? So this is what the Stanley Cup roster is, but how do they get to the Lightning? By trade, by signed, and by trades, okay? So let's start off with draft. They drafted a lot of great key pieces for the Lightning here. Starting off with Nikita Kucherov in 2011, 58th overall in the draft. And you know what? People skipped over Kucherov because they say, oh, he's going to go back. He's going to play in the KHL. Who knows? He's coming to the NHL anytime soon. And that turned out to be an absolute incredible pickup for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And knowing that he's 2011, 58th overall is a massive steal for the Lightning. And great pickup, which leads them to a fantastic start on their team and leads them to some great seasons and some great playoff runs for sure. You also have Steven Stamkos in 2008, first overall. They picked him up. This is before Stevie Y became the GM, so he didn't pick this one, but he would definitely like this pick for Steven Stamkos. Absolutely, what a great pick that is, because Steven Stamkos is a really solid center, and he has a great shot from the point. Of course, you can play him a wing too, have a point down the middle. Speaking of point, 2014, 79th overall. This was the Stevie Y pick. What a pick by Steve Yzerman. This was an incredible pick. 79th overall to pick Braden Point. This guy is amazing what he has done. And you just see, like, wow, how do you get picked so far down? Well, that happens. You can have that happen. As a team, doesn't mean always first round picks turn out to be amazing. It could be second, it could be third, it could be fourth. And what shows that really is just the celestial. They're not all first round picks. You know what I mean? So it's pretty amazing. Talk about not even a first round pick here, a seventh round pick in Andre Palat in 2011, 208th overall. They pick Andre Palat. What a pickup Andre Palat has been. Andre Palat, of course, now is 30 years old, but he's been a good 40, 50 point guy. Nowadays, he's more of a 30, 40 point guy, but what a pickup for someone who was in the 7th round, 208th overall. Another one is Anthony Chiarelli in 2015, 72 overall in the draft. Great pick in the 3rd round. What a solid pick that is. Also, Alex Colon in 2007, 77th. These are guys who are not even first round picks. And these are guys who have just been solid for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Another one is Mateo Joseph, 2015, 120th overall. He's still trying to get himself into a regular NHL spot, but he's trying to get himself there. He's getting experience. But Mateo Joseph, another one. Not a first round pick. He's a 4th round pick. What a pickup that is. And then Ross Colin's been really solid for the Lightning this year. His rookie season, 2016, 108, 18th overall. What a pick that is, isn't it? And they have Victor Hedman, 2009, 2nd overall. Your Norris, trophy man. Of course, not this year. He could have won it, but Adam Fox won instead. But he definitely has won a couple in his career already. But he is 30 now, so Victor Hedman is a solid defenseman. What a great player. He is puck-moving guy, solid defensively too. Just there's so many great things for the Lightning. Absolutely, he's on that back end. He does a terrific job. Then you had Ben Thomas, who not really played as much. Maybe an extra years to come. 2014, 119th overall. They have him too. Solid, big guy. That's all I have to say about him so far. Hasn't done much with the Lightning yet. And you have Cal Foot, 2017, 14th overall. They pick him. That's when they missed the playoffs by a couple points when Steven Stamkos was out and they couldn't figure it out. And then they, of course, now they're like, yeah, without Stamkos, we're fine. You know what I mean? So that's when they got Cal Foot, who's a good, solid defenseman. He's not going to get tons of points for you, but that's okay. He's going to be that solid defenseman, and definitely next year they're going to have to use him a lot because they don't have much cap room. So, yeah, that too. And you have Andrei Vasilevsky in 2012, 19th overall, of course, the top 15 for the 2012 draft. It was pretty embarrassing. Yeah, you had Galchenyuk, you had Ryan Murphy, and Neil Yakupov, Dale Pouliot. The only really good one was Morgan Riley in that top 15, really, to think about. And then after the top 15, funny enough, it was better. You had Vasilevsky, you had Anthony, you had other guys like, whoa, what happened here? You know what I mean? So it was pretty funny. But what a pick by the Lightning at Vasilevsky, knowing that, you had Bishop before, intro Riddle guy, then you have this Vasilevsky Russian kid coming in, and he absolutely becomes a stud for the Lightning. So very good by the Lightning for sure. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players drafted by the Lightning. And how many are in the first round? Two. Three. My bad. Actually, four. Calfoot, Vasilevsky, that's two. Kedman, that's three. Four. Look at that. You have Kucherov, not even in the first round. You have Palat, Chiarelli, Cologne, Point. Guys like that, not even the first round. Shows that you can pick players other than the first round to get some good players, for sure. And also signed by the Lightning, Yanni Gourde was undrafted, and Stevie Y was able to just snatch him up. What a pickup that is, Stevie Y for sure. Tyler Johnson, also undrafted, who he's with his whole career, like Yanni Gourde, with the Lightning, but undrafted also. He has done some great things with the Lightning in his career. I know he was on waivers last year, but 50 points in his career once, a couple times there, so that's pretty good for undrafted guy. Absolutely. Also, Smith, he was the free agent, and they picked him up. He was with the Bruins for a couple games. Except that he was with the Stars. He was drafted by the Stars. Looked like a young, maybe promising guy, but didn't really turn out to anything. Now he's with the Lightning, not playing much. Yeah, Blais Boulette, also undrafted. He's French Canadian, but with the name you can really tell he's Blais Boulette with his French Canadian name. But Blais Boulette really saw in the AHL. Look at the NHL like, he needs to be better. But then you really see now he's finally getting a grasp and definitely will get more of a chance next year with the Lightning. Of course, he's not in the roster right now because they have other guys they're using at this point. But Boulais is a really solid player. Then you have Jan Ruda. He was a free agent. And of course, he signed with the Lightning. He was with the Blackhawks. That's been a really solid pick for them. Not a guy who gets a lot of points, but he's just been solid. He played with Hedman a lot, even though he's not, like Hedman whatsoever. It's just he elevates his game under Hedman because he's playing with him. That's just amazing, right? And you have Luke Shen, who's a free agent, who was from the Canucks. They signed him too. Very nice to have him also, just on that third pairing. Just a solid defenseman there. You have Borkman too, who's a free agent from the Leafs. Really hasn't played much. And you have McElwain, who's a free agent from the Carolina Hurricanes. They signed him to that 2-year deal. Of course, it ends up, the deal ends this year, so he could win 2 cups this year. And 2 years after signing that deal, a great deal that is for him. After this, he's probably going to retire. He's 38 years old, so he's probably going to say, you know what, I won 2 cups back to back and I didn't have to carry much of a load, but it's time for me to retire and see everyone. I don't know if he's going to do that, maybe another year, maybe not. You also have Hugo Elefalt, who could come up next couple of years, maybe next year, the year after, who knows. But he's a solid Sweden defenseman. Not defenseman, goalie, sorry. And you look at trades by the Lightning, these were by Julian Breezeball there. The ones by Julian Breezeball were Barky Goodwill from the Sharks for that first round pick, and everyone's like, first round pick? But man, has that paid off. And also Blake Coleman for a first round pick. But those two guys have paid off big time for the Lightning. Absolutely. 2 cups in a row, big part of that. Ryan McDonough was the Stevie Y trade. Of course, with the Rangers, they also picked up JT Miller in that trade. Of course, Miller's with the Canucks. Now they traded him to the Canucks because they basically couldn't afford him anymore. But of course, Ryan McDonough was traded to the Lightning with JT Miller for Domestikov, Howden, Hayek. A first-round pick became Niels Lindqvist, and then Carl Hankinson. To just let you know that Rangers trade hasn't been too bad for them. So that's what it is. Also, Mikhail Sergachev for Druin. That was a no-brainer. That was a big win for them, for sure. After that, the first year we kind of said, "Oh yeah, they won that. The Lightning won that." It really felt like that. So Sergachev, from the Canadians, that's a stinger. They could really use that guy, Sergachev over Druin, who has that personal absence, which I don't want him back for next year, Druin. So whatever. Moving on to Shunak, he was also a trade. A great trade by the Lightning here. Shunak. He was actually from the Kings. Yeah, he was from the Kings. And it was that trade, Ben Bishop to the Kings for a 5th-round pick for Buda Shunak and a 7th-round pick. Another conditional 7th-round pick. Really interesting, isn't it? Really, really interesting. So, knowing that, for Ben Bishop, you got Shunak. Look at that. It worked out for you perfectly. Look at that, man. Look at that. Tampa Bay, you got the guy you wanted. And then you have David not David. David Savard. I almost said Mark Savard. I thought I was going to say that. David Savard, of course, was acquired at the deadline. No one thought the Lightning would kind of go for him. That, wasn't the rumors. Some thought, the Jets and the Panthers and a team like that. But the Lightning kind of snuck in there and said, hey, we can do something here too. You know that? Retain 50%, another 50%, but the Rings and the Blue Jackets, and they pulled off a solid trade, a 3-year deal, um, a three team deal there. Of course, the Blue Jackets got a 1st and a 3rd-round pick. Then the Wings retained 50%, and of course the Blue Jackets retained a good amount too. So that became $1.62 million. So that worked out good for me. And then they had Brian Lashoff, who's in the AHL. Who cares? But good pick. And they also had to give a 4th-round pick to the Wings just to get Savard, who's been solid. And they had a second Shattenkirk last year. Obviously they couldn't sign him again because he was a free agent. He was going to take too much, and they had no room. So then, of course, the Ducks signed him to that $3.9 million deal. And then Savard, they need another guy, and they're like, we'll bring Savard this year and see how that goes. And you know what? It's worked pretty good for them. So that's what it is. As you can see, the lesson has shown drafted players work out the best. Wouldn't you say? Drafted players work out the best. And that's what you need to do. You have to draft your players from the beginning. Draft them, draft them, draft them. Why? Because you go to free agency, you bring this can be my guy. You spend a lot of money, you haven't drafted him, he could have ups and downs. But when you draft someone and you really grow him up, and that's your guy, for your rookie season forward, you have that guy, that's what you need. And it really has shown you that if you draft well, you can have a solid core. And then you can sign players, on the fill in the gaps. And you can also trade for players for gaps that you need help. Obviously, the Lightning need help on the defense. Of course, they had Hedman, but Hedman's not going to do everything. So they brought in McDonough, and they brought in Sergachev, and they brought in Chernak, and this year they brought in Savard. And years before, they brought in Shattenkirk, and they had other guys. Years before, Girardi was there for a year. Different ones. You had Strawman, different guys that you brought in through the years too. So, that's how things have gone. Really interesting, hasn't it been? So, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts about the Lightning and how they drafted well and they fill in the gaps. They didn't, you know, not the main focus was sign all these free agents and trade for good guys, and then drafting was fill in the gaps. You don't do that. You first priority, remember, draft. You gotta draft. You draft a team. Then you can sign players, fill in the gaps, right? You can fill in the gaps. Then you can do your trades, fill in the gaps with those two, okay? Of course, you can sign players, like Stevie Y with the Red Wings. He signed a multiple of easy, small contracts for the Red Wings. Just to give you a little of a, example, of course, this team's still a rebuilding team at this point, but they're looking better. You look at what they did with the UFAs. They signed Bobby Ryan, 1 million, 1 year. Sam Gagne for a year. Filppula finished up his year. Clendenning only had like $1 million. Different guys like that. Of course, they brought in Mark Stahl, 5 million, but they got a good amount back for that one. You know what I mean? For a second round pick or something like that. But yeah, second round pick worked out for them. Different things. You know what I mean? Just small deals you can do that are not going to sting you. You solid players need to be guys you have drafted. And then fill in the gaps that you need, right? So thanks for watching. I'll see you next video, NHL Sports, and see ya. Bye.